Long ago, in a small, remote village, deep within a forest, there lived a poor married couple named Johann and Greta. They lived in a crumbling thatched hut, its roof leaking whenever it rained, and their daily meals consisted only of dry black bread and thin vegetable soup. Johann was a kind and hard-working woodcutter who went into the forest every day to chop trees and sell firewood in exchange for a little grain. Yet life was harsh, and he often returned home with empty hands and a heart weighed down by worry. Greta, his wife, was a woman who complained often and dreamed endlessly of wealth. Deep inside, however, she carried a quiet sorrow, born of poverty, which made her quick to anger and sharp in her words. One chilly autumn afternoon, while Johann was chopping wood deep in the forest, he accidentally struck an ancient tree, the dwelling of an old forest god. The tree crashed to the ground, and from its trunk emerged the god himself, appearing as an elderly man with a white beard and piercing eyes filled with anger and weariness. "You have destroyed my home," the god thundered, his voice echoing like wind howling through the woods. Terrified, Johann dropped to his knees, his heart pounding. "Please forgive me, my lord. I am only a poor man and knew nothing of this." Seeing Johann's sincerity and gentle nature, the god's expression softened. "Very well," he said. "To make amends, I will grant you 3 wishes. But remember this well. These are the last wishes I will ever grant before I disappear forever. Use them wisely, for humans often destroy the very things they ask for." Johann trembled as sudden joy rushed through him like cool water in a desert. He thanked the god repeatedly, his heart overflowing with hope. "With these 3 wishes, my life will change. Greta will be so happy." He ran home and told his wife everything, his voice excited and his eyes shining. Greta listened, her heart racing with ambition. "Oh, we're rich now," she exclaimed. "But we must wish wisely. Don't be hasty." They sat by their weak fireplace, discussing possibilities late into the night, until exhaustion overtook them, and they decided to think more carefully the next day. The following morning, Greta rose early to prepare breakfast once again, the familiar thin porridge. As she stirred the pot, she muttered, "If only we had a nice sausage to eat for breakfast." Suddenly, there was a loud pop, and a fat, steaming sausage appeared on the table, hot and fragrant. Greta gasped, then cried out in delight. "Oh, the first wish! I wished for the sausage without realizing it." Johann awoke and saw what had happened, his heart filled with regret and anger. "How foolish you are," he shouted. "3 precious wishes, and you wasted one on a miserable sausage. I wish that sausage would stick to your nose, so you never forget this lesson." Another pop echoed through the room. The sausage flew through the air and stuck firmly to Greta's nose, dangling there like a grotesque ornament. Greta screamed in pain and humiliation, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, Johann, why are you so angry? How can I live like this? Please, wish it away." Johann looked at his wife, his heart twisting with remorse. I didn't think." "All right. My final wish. Let the sausage be removed from her nose. That said, that is friendry. The systems is the res. The systems that ardor is the system." With the 3rd pop, the sausage fell onto the table, but the 3 wishes were gone. They sat there in silence as despair settled over them like the dark forest outside. Johann buried his face in his hands. "I've ruined everything," he said. "In anger, I wasted the 2nd wish, and the 3rd was used only to fix my mistake." Greta sobbed bitterly. "I was greedy for a single meal, and now we are just as poor as before, perhaps worse, because this regret will follow us forever." From that day on, they continued their difficult lives, filled with bitterness. At every meal, they looked at the remaining sausage on the table and remembered the 3 wishes, how what they had asked for was destroyed by their own hands. The forest god vanished forever, and no one in the village ever received a second chance. Johann and Greta grew old in poverty, and when they died, they carried with them a single regret, that humans so often destroy their own happiness